I want to invite you into this story that we are all on this forest path on a beautiful summer's day and on the festival grounds. So we've just left behind some of the tents, some of the busyness, and you're going into this forest. And there you see the bonfire circle. So we're sitting around a fire now, ready to share stories, to share this profound experience that our facilitators are going to guide us into. And yeah, to really have a deep conversation about connecting to indigenous wisdom for collective healing. So how can we cultivate right relationships, foster reconciliation, and create systems change together? I'm very pleased to introduce today's facilitators, Arohi, Bud, Navi, Prudence, Tiago, and myself. I will help more with the technology in the background. So amazing facilitators from both indigenous and non-indigenous backgrounds. And yeah, if you like the session, if you enjoy and you want to keep on participating in the festival, we have amazing sessions coming up. There's 15 more until the end of June. I'll drop a link into the chat where you can sign up, and you can also stay connected in our WhatsApp group. I will also put that into the chat. But I think it's time to dive in, and Arohi is going to guide us through an embodiment. But before that, we're going to have Tiago centering the intention and the framing of the session. So over to you, Tiago. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our fire. So I imagine I think I can say for the others that we are pleased and we are eager to meet you, and just take a time as well. If you see familiar faces, I see friends, just to scroll and see, everyone that is here. And I think that's the medicine, that's the gift that we can give it as well, our presence. I'm just going to build and weave in with Adrian what Adrian already shared with us. It's the intention of this meeting, right? So I wrote a couple things, but I think I want to speak from the heart. I feel that this is a place of connection, dialogue, understanding of paradox, of complexities. When we aim to weave different knowledges, different systems, different sciences, different ways of beings. So we're going through a process now with the earth. I feel very much and you all have accepted that to be here also, to look into, to learn from each other. And I think that's how I see also as a one thing that call us here. And to just start, Adrian, if you can share, I would like to read something. It's a poem. I'm not the best reader in English. It's not my native language, and it's not, but I think that set us to then also the intention of this meeting, and gave us this moment to connect with us. So this poem, before I read it, it is made and is written by a group of indigenous people, a collective. And one of the writers, his name is Kesh Ayana Kiu. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, but I will start with the poem. The poem starts, beyond thank you for the real estate. When you acknowledge the land, please center those who have not forgot its sacredness and who have paid a higher price for honoring their obligations towards it. We ask you to take a moment to remember the genocides, the ecocides, that heaven happened on the land and to the people of the land, so that you could have the pleasure and the privilege to live, to love, to work and play on stolen indigenous lands. We don't want you to feel shame or guilty for being a settler. We invite you to feel motivated and responsible for interrupting ongoing harm and continuous violence towards the land, towards indigenous people, towards our own body, which is also land. We ask you to recognize and support the efforts of the land, to keep all human and non-human beings alive, despite the ongoing disrespect, neglect, and destruction, carried out in the name of progress, development, and civilization. So just please take a moment to really take in this poem, the responsibility that we carry as a human being. And with that, I wanted to pass to my friend Mahori, that she would guide us with embodiment and meditation, connecting us with the Mother Earth. Mahori?
Thank you, Tiago. That was a beautiful poem. Hi, everyone. It's good to see you all. It's really beautiful to read your introductions in the chat and hear more about why you joined. And like Tiago mentioned, I'm going to be leading us through an embodiment exercise to help us ground and connect with Mother Earth and the 4 elements or the 4 directions. This is a favorite framework of mine because it's found in every indigenous spiritual and indigenous wisdom system around the world. The 4 directions, so the north, south, east, west, I've seen more often in North America and Mesoamerica, but even when you look at Ayurveda or traditional Chinese medicine, you'll hear in their systems of knowledge, they'll reference the elements. So air, water, fire, and earth. And these are the 4 elements that we're going to be connecting with today. And I want to ask you all, when you think about colonialism, patriarchy, capitalism, which of these elements do you find out of balance, or maybe in the extremes? Instinctively, intuitively, what would you say? And you can drop that in the chat. So 4 elements are water, earth, fire, and air. And there's no right or wrong answer here. Okay, interesting. We have earth, fire, air, the air that we breathe, all of them. Yes. Okay, so even in our answers, you can see such diversity. And this is because each system has its own associations and affiliations with these directions and with the elements. One commonality, one generalization I'm going to make. Air and fire tend to be more masculine. Air being associated with our mind, our reasoning capabilities, our analysis, decision-making, vision. Fire being spirit, so the warmth. And when you think about our earth and climate change, I personally associate fire with the last few hundred years. Water and earth are typically considered to be more feminine elements. And when I use masculine and feminine here, this is not about gender. One way of thinking about this is like yin and yang. So yin being associated with feminine, the night, intuition, our emotions, and yang being associated with fire, action, the external environment. And so today we're going to be connecting with the elements in our body. When we think about capitalism, colonialism, we tend to be in the mind, right? Like many of us are working on our computers, mind over matter. The body, alongside indigenous wisdom, the violence that's been committed against indigenous people is really about our relationship to earth and to land. And part of the first step in decolonization, at least what I've learned in my own healing journey, is that we have to reconnect with our body. And this can be challenging when we are conditioned to be go, 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 hustle, move forward, linear, progress is linear, we're future oriented. Whereas when we look at a lot of indigenous wisdom and cultures, they keep their eyes towards the past. And they actually are looking towards their ancestors so that they can make decisions and choices for the generations that come after them. So let me see if there's anything else I wanted to share. Oh yeah, so this meditation we're going to be doing, I've learned it from the Lakota tradition. I just completed my yoga teacher training in Quito, and there we learned another version of this medicine wheel. I personally have learned this ritual and modified it based on my own understandings and my own relationship to these elements. But my first teacher that I learned this from is Lydia Ruedo Salazar. And you can find her on Instagram at Tierra Ritual. She's my herbalism teacher, and she's located in the Bay Area, if any of you are there. And I saw in the chat as well that some people said, I'm looking to integrate more indigenous wisdom or ancestral wisdom into my daily life. This exercise that we're going to be doing is a great ritual when you wake up in the morning, whenever you feel a bit off. It's a way to do a body scan, essentially, and bring your energy, your presence, your awareness back to your body, and back to the 4 elements. So anytime you feel out of balance, this is a great way to come back to center. Okay, I'm going to have us start with the meditation then. And because this is an embodiment exercise, I'm going to turn off my camera so you're not looking at me. And the point of this exercise is really to tune into your own body. So I invite you as well to turn off your camera. And I'm going to turn on some music. Can I get a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear the music? Adrian, please. Maybe now.
Yeah. You still need to share your sound.
Yeah, I got a thumbs up. Okay.
Oh no, we don't. No,
Oh, you
there's
don't hear
no
it.
music yet.
Okay, hold on. Let's try this again. Hear audio.
Yes, now it's there. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Thank you all. All right. So you're going to want to start by finding a comfortable position, whether that's standing or sitting or on all fours. This exercise is to tune into and honor the body, an extension of earth, our divine vessel for our souls, our spirit. And you might want to begin by closing your eyes if that feels comfortable. bringing your awareness to your breath. And slowing everything down. Inhale for a count of 4. And exhale. This is a time for your body to lead the way. Allow yourself to sway, move to the music, move in the way that your body is calling you. If you're craving more stability or security, you might bring your hands to prayer or gently place on the parts of your body that need more support. If you're craving more expansion, you might dance and flow like water. Be gentle and slow. Allow your body to lead the way. Sometimes, when we tune into the body, we can find emotions rise or even pain. If this happens, imagine these emotions or pain like water, rising with the tides and washing over you. You might feel your thoughts scattering in a million directions. That's okay. You can watch them pass like clouds. During this moving meditation, you are the observer, an explorer, a caretaker for your body. This meditation is simply a guide. We begin in the direction of north, and we travel to the mind. This is the element of air. This is the direction of vision, our dreams and manifestations, our future. This is the direction of our children, of joy and humor. Take a breath for cleansing. Inhale deep and exhale with a sigh. This is your prana, your life force energy. In your mind, you have the ability to think, to reason, to plan, to decide. Watch your thoughts and observe the sensations. Say thank you, mind. Now we move to the direction of west, your heart. And here you might want to gently place your hands on your heart and begin moving with the element of water. This is the direction of purification, cleansing, renewal. Our heart is like an ocean, big and beautiful, intense. And in our heart, we can both feel these waves of emotions and feel the immensity of our compassion. This water is nourishing, cleansing, and caring. Say thank you, heart. Now we move to the direction of the east, the element of fire. You might bring your hands to your stomach, or you might rub your hands together to generate some heat and place on any part of your body that's needing some extra love. Our fire is necessary for survival. It is our pride, our identity. It is your creativity and your sensuality. You are uniquely you. You are a warrior. What do you see in your fire? And say thank you, Spirit. And now we turn to the final direction of south, the element of earth, our body. If it feels right, you might lay down on the ground and feel yourself held by the gentle stability of Mother Earth. Imagine roots connecting you and your body to the core of our earth. This is the direction of our ancestors, of our past, of death and transformation. Maybe you imagine that your body is a temple. It is your sanctuary, your safe space. What do you see in your body? And here we say, thank you, body. To close the ritual, as you inhale, see a golden light filling every inch and every cell of your body, and hold. And as you exhale, see a silver light escaping through your breath and through your body. And one more time, give yourself a big hug and say, thank you, body, out loud. And when you're ready, come back to finding a comfortable seat and return back to our session. So now we're going to have a few minutes to reflect on how that moving meditation was for you. And there are 2 questions that Adrienne's going to help me with by dropping in the chat. And you'll be in a group of 3. You'll have about 8 minutes. So take a few minutes for each person to share. What did you notice in your body in the embodiment exercise? And what is your relationship to the 4 directions? And y'all should see an invite to a breakout room, and we'll join back here in about 8 minutes.
Welcome back, everybody, from the breakouts. others are still coming in.
Okay. I had a beautiful breakout group. I'd love to hear from one or two folks who maybe want to share how they're feeling, or maybe something in their breakout group that resonated with them. If you can raise your hand, we'll just use a few minutes. And you can also feel free to type something up and share in the chat. But I'd love to hear how the meditation was for you, and any insights that came out from the dialogue.
Hello. I would love a map with how we can practice each of the elements and tune more with our bodies. And we were talking about how fire, candle lighting, and water, a bath, earth, tending to your plants in your garden, and air, deep breathing, or pranayama practices. And I would love to hear everyone's practices and how we can connect better with our bodies.
Yeah, maybe let's use this 1 minute as like a crowd sharing exercise. So pick an element, or if you type fast, write a few, but maybe share some of your favorite practices that help you connect with each of the elements. And yes, when we follow up, I'm happy to share. Marina did a great job of actually drawing out the 4 directions and the elements associated with them. It's definitely, if you're a visual person, a great way. My herbalism mentor I mentioned earlier today, she faces each direction as she does the ritual. And so that's one way to do it as well. You can do it within your body and really tuning into the different places in your body. Or you can do the same ritual facing the different directions. Michelle, that's very sweet. If we have a recording, I think I could chop it up and send it along with this like visualized guide with, I'll share, at least for me, some of my favorite practices for each of the elements, each of the directions. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to participate in this. And yes, feel free to share some of these in the comments. I already see some lovely ones. All right, and now I will pass it to Prudence. Is that right? For some storytelling? This is gonna be exciting.
Yeah, thank you once more, Ellery, for sharing, and thanks everyone who joined us to share this healing event about indigenous perspectives. I am Prudence from Africa, precisely from Cameroon. I will be sharing a story with you today, which I titled The Tortoise and the Animals Party, because coming from Africa, storytelling is something that is very common. We usually sit around the fireside with our grandparents, mother, fathers, and we share stories. So I happen to have learned this story about the tortoise and the animals party from my grandma. Once upon a time, there lives a group of animals in the forest. They lived so happily. They shared common practices and they had lovely families. But they had one of these practices that at the end of every year, there is always a ceremony that comes up, like the end of year party, whereby all the animals in the jungle, in the forest, they would need to come together for them to celebrate a successful year, just as how we also do. At the end of the year, we host parties with our families to have great moments. So this party was always being hosted in different forests and homes. You know that as animals, they have different class. Like you have the birds that fly on the air. You have other animals also that live on the land. So it was something that was rotating there was time where the birds had to come and celebrate with the animals on the land. There became a time where the animals on the land also had to join the birds to celebrate this event. It was rather unfortunate. You know, the birds have feathers to fly, but other animals on the land do not have wings. So that was already an obstacle for them to partake in this end of year party, which was actually taking place in the sky. There became a time where there was a need now for the animals who live on the ground to negotiate, collaborate, to see how those that flies on the air could step in to assist them with their wings and feathers so that they could be part of this party. As other animals were making that negotiation, the tortoise, that is commonly known as one of the most intelligent animals in Africa, because it doesn't work fast, but it works very slow. So because it is slow in moving, it uses the wisdom, it uses the intelligence to play over other animals, because each time they want to do something, the other animals always overtake it, since it works very slow. So the other animals now were negotiating, and the tortoise did not want to negotiate. There became a time before the tortoise realized it, other animals had already negotiated with other species of birds, such as the owl, the eagle, and so many others. They were already carrying the other friends from the land to the sky for the party. So tortoise saw that he had no option rather than to collaborate. He called for one of the birds, that was the eagle, and made an agreement. Mr. Eagle, can you lend me with your feather to partake to this party? The eagle said, yes, of course, Mr. Tortoise, but under one condition. So the tortoise asked, what condition? The eagle said, when we reach at the party ground, make sure when you are eating, don't forget me. Even when you are sharing beef, chicken, food, and other slices of meat, make sure you give me the hearty slice. Make sure you don't give me the skinny portion. Give me the fleshy one. Do we have this agreement? Mr. Tortoise said, yes, I will do just that. So Mr. Eagle assisted Mr. Tortoise with the feathers to the sky, where the party was to be hosted. When it was time for the party, there was a variety of dishes. There were a variety of meat, beef, chickens, and so many others. And Mr. Tortoise happened to be one of those that was appointed to do the sharing during the party. So Mr. Eagle was really, really so excited that he was going to benefit from the agreement that he had with Mr. Tortoise. Neither did Mr. Eagle know that Tortoise was just trying to play over his intelligence by accepting to that agreement of which he was not going to keep on to that agreement. When it was time for sharing, Mr. Tortoise began sharing. When he reached Mr. Eagle, he took the skinny part of the fleshy meat and gave it to Mr. Eagle and kept the fleshy one for himself. Mr. Eagle could not speak. Mr. Eagle regretted forever assisting Tortoise. But later on, Mr. Eagle had this thought on his mind. By the way, I should not regret, because it will be time for them to return back on the ground, and Mr. Tortoise will still need my help. So if Mr. Tortoise thinks that he is wise, I am wiser than him. So that was how Mr. Eagle felt relaxed. They all enjoyed themselves. The party moved on very well. When it was time now for them to return on Earth, other animals that kept up to their agreement, they began carrying the other animals onto the land. Everyone transported the other animals because they all fulfilled their agreements apart from Mr. Tortoise. So when the other animals took off, Mr. Tortoise was the only one left. There was no way he could approach Mr. Eagle again to say, Mr. Eagle, help me, because Mr. Eagle had failed. Mr. Eagle did not keep to that agreement. So when Mr. Tortoise approached Mr. Eagle said, no, you made a fool out of me the first time. You deceived me with sweet words. This time around, I'm not going to help you. I will let you to be here. You will remain here. All your other friends are gone. I will see how you will return back. So Mr. Tortoise tried to persuade Mr. Eagle. It was rather unfortunate. Mr. Eagle's decision was really firm and so determined to keep on to his decision. Because of this decision, Mr. Tortoise was really left stranded, whereby he had no option than to plead again with Mr. Eagle. Mr. Eagle now gave him one condition, that, okay, send me to your family to pass a message for them, but I will not help you. But I can reach out to your family to tell them that you are with us, you are safe. Mr. Tortoise said, no, I don't want you to take the message to my family, but I want you to take me back to my family where I can access them. Please, can you tell my wife to get the most comfortable, sophisticated, soft mattress and dollop and pile them on this flat atmosphere so that I can lift the sky and fall on the dollop and the mattress and I will not be hurt? Okay, Mr. Eagle said, okay, is that what you want? He said, yes. Mr. Eagle went. Instead of Mr. Eagle to tell Turtle's wife what the husband had said for him to position soft, dollop, mattress, and other comfortable equipments that could actually assist Mr. Tortoise after falling from the sky to the earth not to be hurt, Mr. Eagle went and transformed that information and said to your husband, say, you should get all the wild weapons such as spears, axe, machetes, all the dangerous weapons, and then you position them on the ground that there is an attack that is coming, that the moment he is arriving, he will need to use all these weapons to defend the family. So that was how Mr. Tortoise White got all these things and assembled them outside. Mr. Tortoise was on the sky. He did not know what they have assembled down, but the bird knew it. So the eagle went back to Mr. Tortoise and said, message well delivered. Mr. Tortoise said, thank you, I can now fall on the ground. So as Mr. Tortoise now left the sky and was falling down, he knew that he was going to fall on comfortable materials such as a mattress, dollops, and so many others. It was rather unfortunate that Mr. Tortoise left the sky and fell on those dangerous equipments such as knives, machetes, spears, axe, and many others. And looking at the reality of today, that was how Mr. Tortoise had the cracks on his back. If you can look at the tortoise, you will see these marks on the tortoise back. You see this line, you see the cracks. So from the beginning, Mr. Tortoise never had those cracks. Please, Adrian, can you display the tortoise? Looking at the picture of the tortoise, you can see the cracks on tortoise back. Tortoise never had the cracks from the beginning. As you can see those cracks, the lines, it was given as a result of those dangerous weapons that Mr. Tortoise fell on the sky, and he had the wounds, the hurts, and all the cracks. And since that day, that was how Mr. Tortoise had ended up having cracks all over his body as a reality. And here, the lessons of this story, it is that collaboration is important. Keeping on to your agreement is very important because it is a form of healing. When we have an agreement, you keep on to your agreement, I keep on to mine, our minds are healed because there are no disagreements. But where we have agreements at the end, you take me as a fool and you make a fool out of me, my heart is not healed. My heart is in pain. So you see that because the heart of the eagle was in pain after having the first agreement with tortoise. Tortoise failed to keep to the agreement. The heart of eagle was in pain and he had to behave that way. Looking at the good relationship they had, since that day, you see that tortoise and the birds, they are no longer friends because of that. It brought them enmity. So if we must practice healing in our communities and in our societies, we must always learn how to keep to the term of agreement. We must always learn how to collaborate, because if tortoise had collaborated with Mr. Eagle as it all started in the beginning, it shouldn't have resulted to this. And actually, relating to this story again, I would like to bring out this picture in form of a question. The indigenous people. Most often people hear about indigenous people. Most often people hear about early men, but there is a mystery behind the lifestyle of these people because there are untold and unknown secrets about the indigenous people. I want you to take this question of reflection. Imagine yourself. Can you survive in a winter season without clothes? Can you survive during seasons that are very cold without clothes for 30 minutes? I know that, of course, the question will be no. But look at the situation of the indigenous people. They survived without clothes. They lived with the barks of trees. They used the barks of trees as their clothes. They never had the modern clothes that the Western world had. They never had the jackets. They never had all these pullovers that we have today to keep ourselves warm. So what was the mystery behind their survival? Why did they survive that you and I cannot survive? Knowing fully well that we are all humans. They are humans like you. They are humans like me. They survived. But for us now, we easily fall sick when we are exposed. So what was this secret? The secret behind the survival of these indigenous people was all about their relationship with nature. The mutual relationship that they share with nature. How was this mutual relationship? They used to eat natural fruits like oranges, apples, pineapples. They do not eat foods that were cultivated from artificial chemicals such as fertilizers. They eat natural fruits that grow naturally in the forest. And looking at the reality today, fertilizer is a chemicalized product whereby when you use fertilizers in producing foods, they may be very healthy, but the transformation, the taste of that food will no longer be natural. A lot has been transformed because the chemical has reduced something, the nature of the natural taste, and has added something artificial into it, which as we eat, it makes our systems to be weak. It is no longer strong. It is no longer healthy. That is why sometimes we commonly have things like food poisoning at times when we live on these artificial foods. But looking at the African ancestors, they lived on natural organic foods. Sometimes even for them to add fertilizers, they use organic fertilizers, such as cow dung, pig dung, in cultivating their food. So because of this, it gave them a stronger nature. It makes their skin to be stronger. It makes their system to be stronger. it built their immune systems in such a way that it was very, very difficult for them to be very allergic or sensitive to cold the way you and I are now. What is happening to us in the modern world is because our diets, what we eat, determines how our immune systems looks like. More of our immune system have been exposed today and has become very sensitive to infections, to cold, to fever. So this was one of the mystery that helped the indigenous people survive. They live on natural things. They never transformed the natural things into artificial things. In situations whereby they wanted to transform, they use organic fertilizer. And because of this, the relationship between these indigenous people and nature was very strong, because what nature gave them, they received it naturally and reciprocated it to nature by maintaining nature, by not adding any artificials. So because of this, we saw that there was a healing relationship between the indigenous people and nature. Because whereby nature bless you, you reciprocate, you respect nature, you appreciate nature, nature feels encouraged to bless you more. And that also explains some of the reasons why our indigenous forefathers were able to survive in the midst of wild animals. They made wild animals their friends because they were friendly. They respected them. They had this mutual understanding between them, which they had this concept of Obotu de Kapwa, I am because you are because I am, whereby they take in oxygen, they send out carbon dioxide. Plants and nature takes in carbon dioxide and sends out oxygen. So because of this respect, they found their relationship very healing. Each and every one of them was happy. There was never a day that our indigenous fathers violated nature. Even where they fell down trees, they encouraged reforestation, not like now that we only fell down trees, we don't plant. Even whereby they use animals for their meat, they used to rear the younger ones to grow and reproduce. So the healing relationship was very, very effective and mutual between the indigenous people and nature. And because of this, they were stronger, they were healthy, and they all look happily. Thank you. So, Tiago, now please, I would like you to direct us into the chat rooms where we can have reflection about the indigenous people and the story which I just shared about the tortoise and the animals party. So that, please, can you share the questions on the screen so that we can go into the chat rooms? Thank you.
Thank you, Abumbi. Thank you for the sharing. Yeah, exactly. We are going now to breakout rooms, and Adrian will be opening them. Each of you will be automatic assigned. Correct me if I'm saying something wrong, Adrian, but
yeah, that's the case. And then with each of you, there is one facilitator. So Tiago, Arohi, Prudence, and Navi will be there. So they will start to guide and start a conversation, and we just continue in this emergent process of sense making and sharing. So yeah, enjoy the breakout rooms.
would you like to listen to know how was in my group? I got the feeling that there's more to first to get to know each other takes time, right? So, and that's where we can start from. But we would like to very much listen to a few words of any of you. Just show us, just open the mic and speak, and let us know how was this conversation. Okay, maybe I can ask. Okay, Michelle, please.
It was, well, one, it was interesting to realize even if I wanted to stay in the story that Prudence was sharing, I couldn't process it. I actually, in our smaller group, the facilitator shared like a digested version, and it almost seemed like I needed the intimacy of someone coming closer to make it simpler, probably because of where my starting point was. So that was just information for me about how separate I was from starting from mythology or story. So for that, I'm really grateful.
Okay, please.
Tiago, thank you for the small group work. And to echo your point, I feel like I was saying that, the more you learn about all of these things, having grown up in a totally Western atmosphere, the more you have to like deprogram or unpack. And everything, like Prudence, your story, I feel like I could spend a year with you and you could tell me that story every day. And every day I would get more and more out of the story. And that things like this, they're like, and also the meditation, the four directions meditation, everything. There's just so much depth and richness that I just hope for like each time one synapse in my brain to sort of loosen up a little bit and open up to meaning. And I recognize this is like a lifelong journey is what I say. So thank you for everybody and all that you've contributed.
Thank you, Anne. Someone else, and then maybe we close. Okay, Cecilia, welcome.
Hey, I think that in our group, it was nice to observe how, the power of telling something that looks like a simple story, but has so much meaning, and how it could never be brought, or at least we don't imagine it being brought into a boardroom, but how much actual value it has. And we sometimes get lost in very complicated terms or whatever intellectualizations, but how it's powerful to have a story like this to tell so many things.
Thank you. I wanted to just again extend thank you for you all to be your presence, to be here, to have this listening ears to not only this topic, but what requires the responsibility to take this with you and to show up. And I want to pass this to Adrian to guide us to the conclusion.
Yes. Thank you, Tiago. Let's first do a bit of a checkout. I love these kind of gratitude checkouts because it brings out the abundance of what we just experienced. So just take a short moment and chat and share what are you most grateful for in relation to this session, to this experience, the embodiment, the story, but also the people you met and the relationships that you were able to cultivate in the breakout. So let's just take a short moment to connect to gratitude and abundance here. So first reflections coming in, the diversity, the embodied elements, connecting to the body, healing energy, the gentleness, the heartfulness of the space, personal stories, kindness and vulnerability, wisdom, kindness again, Navi inviting to connect, meeting the people, heartfelt reflections, presence, advocacy, sense of oneness from Taonga. Thank you for these beautiful reflections and sharing the gratitude. So this is just one session. I think the sense making is ongoing. There's so much happening in these different movements and communities that we're a part of. If you want to connect to any one of the facilitators to follow up on embodiment, the breakouts, the story with Prudence, you can just connect here on LinkedIn. If you want to drop your own LinkedIn into the chat for others to connect, that's also totally fine, or any other way to connect, your email if you want to follow up on something specific. And while you go into connecting, I just wanted to invite you to further participate in the festival. So we have a lot of different things still coming up until the end of June. You can see here our beautiful virtual festival area. We really invite you to play, to engage. There are so many amazing things coming still up, sessions on governance, session on funding, systems change projects. There's one on regenerative leadership and how that shows up in networks. So there's all kinds of different topics that might be very relevant. And you can get your tickets and sign up for these sessions in the Ticket Tree House. So that's basically just the link that I just put into the chat. You'll have an overview of all the events that are still coming up. If you want to stay connected, we have a WhatsApp group. Again, the link is in the chat, and there we have a lot of games, so you get to meet people who were participating in other sessions. We connect on a weekly level. This week we played a game on music, so our favorite music and what it does with us, but there's many other parts. And if you want to exchange offers and needs, so these offers and needs, they are about, skills and opportunities and job offers and all different kinds of things. You can go to our needs and offers fair, because over 100 people already shared, what they need, what they offer. So these are 3 simple ways to stay connected and enjoy the playfulness of the Networks Festival this year. Again, Prudence, Navi, Thiago, Arohi, thank you so much for facilitating this session. Thanks everyone for showing up, and let's stay connected to our hearts, to our own wisdom, and continue to create regenerative and equitable futures for all life on Earth. Thank you and have a great day.